4474 00.
Just before midnight on May 31st, 2022, officers from the Milwaukee Police Department in Wisconsin were dispatched to a potential shooting that took place in a residential part of the city.
For the update here, caller heard a female yell, "I've been shot." The caller did hear about 15 shots, possibly from 2 different guns. It is possibly coming from Long Island and Custer.
Would that be something that fits the chick from before?
PC did advise MSD of the shooting. We have 2 injured on the board. I'm going to dupe them all together eventually. I just want them to continue entering the information before I dupe them.
Red light. My bad. Clear, right?
So we got a crowd of people out here. Looks like people are hurt.
Pull up next one. I got him.
0.
Y'all need to call an ambulance.
Yeah, we got him.
I need you to move so we can do CPR. Hold on. I need you to step off this side so we can do CPR.
Alright, we got 1 black female from the front.
She shot you, we need help.
What happened? Is she okay?
Someone let off.
I don't know, bro. Where's the ambulance?
They're coming.
Where is they at, bro?
She got shot in the leg.
Yes.
She's conscious and breathing.
But she just shot.
Yeah, we got someone working. We know who shot you.
We have another black female, not conscious, not breathing.
Man, can you do me a favor? They've got to work on both sides.
Yeah,
So you
can you
got to
move,
step
please?
back for me, okay? So they can keep working on it.
Ma'am, can you please move faster? What the f*** you mean? Can I move faster? I'm trying to save her, okay? I get it. Young.
We also have a vehicle multiple bullet strikes to it. It's going to be a key-assault break.
Was anybody out here when this happened? Did they see anything?
Oh, bro, I didn't see
You see what happened?
we're just trying to surprise my friend.
So you were coming to surprise a friend?
I got you for sure. I got you.
Just got out of jail.
Weren't we just talking earlier?
I know, baby.
Is this what happened earlier?
No, this just happened.
No, but is this...
Everybody was just out minding their own business. Nothing was
No,
going on.
we don't. We didn't know what
I
before.
passed
That's
out.
why.
This don't got
that's why.
nothing to do with that.
Unresponsive. Been doing CPR since we got here.
Taji, you have to calm down. All we doing was coming to see Fredo.
Yeah, please victims want community.
That's heavy, bro. That is heavy. Damn.
She shot in the right upper chest.
That's his sister.
Jacob!
Dealt with earlier.
Ma'am. First name?
Yes.
What's her first name?
Camiana.
So far, officers learned that the girls were driving a gray Kia Soul when they were suddenly shot at. 3 girls are known to be in the car at the time. One is Camiona, the girl medics are trying to stabilize. One is Tajiana, who has been shot in the leg or lower back area. The third is a girl referred to as Giga, who has apparently walked off scene, or at least out of earshot and visuals of the body cameras we have access to. It is unknown at the time if she has any injuries. Officers are also not aware yet that Giga was a passenger in the vehicle, but they will discover this later on. The girls were apparently on their way to meet an individual named Fredo, an ex-boyfriend of Giga's who had just been released from jail. Giga seems to be living out in Arizona, so Fredo seeing her would be a bit of a surprise. Additionally, officers have been noting that another individual who they believe is Camiona's sister, Sierra, is also on scene.
I'm gonna find the sister. The sister's the one that we dealt with earlier.
I just saw right now. I said, we was talking to you then. You said nothing happened. We was trying to talk to you. You said no.
Officers at the time do not realize that Sierra is not literally Camiona's sister, but is at least very familiar with her as Camiona is dating Sierra's apparent younger brother, Omarion. Officers' suspicions of Sierra appear to grow as they note she called for emergency services earlier the same day. It's later on that the shooting took place just outside of Sierra's residence, where she, her brother Omarion, and others call home. The male civilian on scene, who exclaimed Camiona was shot, appears to be Sierra's boyfriend, though this is not confirmed through our available sources. And so the question becomes, who is responsible for firing at the 3 girls in the car?
Shots came from this way. There's bullet holes in the windshield and stuff.
Where do we have to move that?
There's one in her right collarbone.
There might be one on the side of her head, too.
No pulse.
Everybody start pushing them back, away from the scene.
Well, she was out here. I came running after her.
Thanks for your help,
I didn't mean to grab ya.
They got to work on it.
You got gloves.
We're going to do one more rhythm check here in a little bit, and then we'll call it. Okay.
4474 00.
Can you please give us a
We will.
That's a friend's auntie's
Yeah.
car? So who's driving that?
My friend.
Who was in the street?
Yeah.
We're estimating 500 one loss.
We dealt with Sierra earlier tonight, and there's possibly shots fired. You don't know much about her?
I really hope she didn't hit me.
So,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We friends with them.
So,
When I was
do you
on
know
the
if her
ground-
boyfriend's violent or anything like that? You
He
don't know?
just graduated high school. She used to talk to the boy that just got out of jail. We wanted to surprise him. I had a gut feeling. I said it before we even got shot. We do not need to be on this block if something's gonna happen. And all I see is this little a silver car. A silver car. I see them flick their lights. They finna pull over and start shooting. And
The
they
silver
let
car
off-
does?
Yes, they pulled over.
No pulse there.
Nope.
They only put the gun through the window.
No pulse. Hold on.
Yes, they pulled over.
No pulse there.
Nope.
They only put the gun through the window.
11:20 p.m. 24:20 p.m. What's the time of death at 11:20 p.m.?
She died? No. Oh, yo, nah. R.I.P., bro. R.I.P. to Camiona, bro. R.I.P. to Camiona, deadass, bro.
Get some blankets. We'll get.
Being shoots right now.
Somebody
Yeah.
seen something.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody had they always outside.
4213. Anyone have red tape?
We's not them type of females.
No,
My friend,
not
she's in
saying,
college.
but we just gotta-
I'm graduating high school.
Where do you go to
from-
high school?
My boyfriend, that was my, I don't know if you've seen them. They all in the house. They come outside
No
and
one's-
running. I graduate. I'm gonna be in the hospital. I'm not gonna be able to.
You graduate to when?
Friday.
No, you should be good. It's just a leg. When MFD's like sitting back, that's a good sign.
Okay.
What's the single gunshot wound in the chest here, Alyssa?
Yes.
Will she be going to that same hospital?
I'm not sure. Yeah. What's the friend's name that just got out of prison?
Fredo?
Fredo? You don't know much about him?
No. I'm so sorry. I think I'm giving you information.
You're real tired of this. My fourth dead kid this morning. Where'd she get?
Right here. Do you remember that non-shooting from earlier? This is her sister.
So this might have been
Related, but she didn't want to tell us anything.
Suspect description is going to be two subjects, unknown race or sex, operating a silver vehicle, heavy tint. Victims pull up, subjects exit the vehicle, discharge firearm at vehicle, striking victims, and fled south.
You're doing really well considering the circumstances. Phone about 2 more kisses.
Be advised, right now we're up to about 20 family members and they're pretty upset.
As police secure the area, investigators and other officers begin questioning those on scene.
Do you know anybody that got hit or anything like that? Did you see anything or hear anything?
I was standing on the side, and I got a newborn in the house, and I
Okay.
got a 10-year-old that was playing around, and I just ran. I ain't looked because I wasn't trying to go see because I got kids to go home to.
According to both a police report and Tajiana's account of the events, detectives later interviewed Giga, the third passenger in the victim's vehicle. Giga told officers that she saw Omarion and his friend Dalen outside Omarion's home shortly before gunfire erupted. Officers also questioned another individual, Fredo, whose real name is Rashawn. Initially, Rashawn claimed he didn't witness or hear anything, but later he told a different detective that he had seen part of what happened as he was standing outside when the shots were fired. Due to inconsistencies in Omarion, Dalen, and Rashawn's statements and movements, officers identified them as suspects. In short, the 3 girls in the car were shot at as they attempted to surprise some boys in the neighborhood, leading to Camiona's death. Interestingly, the vehicle Tajiana mentioned that allegedly carried multiple armed individuals wasn't mentioned in the arrest report, which was made days after that night. Without further documentation, it is unclear if the mysterious dark-tinted vehicle was ever located or considered part of the investigation after arrests were made. Ultimately, officers developed enough probable cause to get an arrest warrant for one of the 3 suspects. At 1:47 a.m. that same night, they made a surprise appearance at the same residence the shooting took place. This is the look of 18-year-old Dalen Bridges as he's arrested for murder.
You got anything on you? Hey y'all. Come on. Well, I'm home now.
He might not realize it at the time, but what happened tonight may forever affect his life. We will go over his charges and sentencing in a moment.
My girlfriend, y'all trying to take my
y'all.
What?
What'd you just say? What'd you just say?
Don't touch me.
Okay.
Huh?
Turn around, please.
What are you gonna do?
That one, please.
Alright.
Nah, you be wild, bro. All he said was just huge. All he did was just talk shit, though. He just talked shit. He was just talking shit. He ain't got arrested ass for that. Like, what? That's crazy.
The second individual to be arrested was 18-year-old Omarion McNeely.
Okay, just relax then, man.
Okay, I'm relaxed, bro. Look how you holding my arm, and look how y'all got the cut.
Cause look how you was acting. You just be cool. The cuffs wouldn't be that tight, right?
Yeah, got it.
Right? You hear what I'm saying?
My girlfriend is
I'm sorry about that, okay?
Yeah, I understand. Oh, you said it was in the first.
Exactly, that's what I told you.
Okay, come on.
Hey, what do you think was gonna happen when he said that? I get you're pissed off for it, but I don't know what the just happened. I was chilling there and bang.
Have you ever been arrested before?
On Omarion's Facebook page, which we found through the grapevine of research, shows post of him celebrating his graduation, along with post of him and Camiona as a couple. You may have noticed his Facebook name is listed as HNPODZ. After doing a bit of digging, we discovered a handful of Omarion's friends also had HNP in their Facebook name, and many supplied it in their About section as well. We couldn't determine exactly what HNP stands for, but it's an apparent gang that Dalen, aka Day Day, and the third suspect Rashawn, aka Fredo, who was arrested off camera, all seem to be a part of, at least according to their social media profiles. Fredo, aka Rashawn, had not actually been fully released from the law as he was out on bail with GPS monitoring for a separate murder charge. Regarding the murder charge Rashawn faced prior to the events in this video, many of the HNP network of friends made Facebook posts calling for Rashawn's release while using his alias name. He was being tried for shooting and killing 26-year-old Jasmine Brown in April of 2021. According to news reports, Rashawn's older brother Angelo McCaleb apparently had an unpleasant run-in with an ex-girlfriend and her group of friends at a club, which included Jasmine. In retaliation, Angelo allegedly placed a rifle in the front seat of his vehicle as the group of women left the club. Soon after, Rashawn, who was a passenger in his brother's vehicle, picked up the rifle, stood through the moonroof of the car, and shot at the group of women after they stopped at a house to drop the ex-girlfriend off. Rashawn was just 16 years old when he allegedly shot and killed Jasmine and had been jailed for nearly a year before being released back out into the public thanks to a sudden change in his bond agreement. The court changed his bail from a $30,000 cash bond to a $30,000 signature bond, giving him the ability to leave jail without any upfront cost during his transition to house arrest. According to news sources, this sudden change happened due to a prosecutor's key witness failing to show at trial. That key witness was allegedly Angelo himself. According to a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel investigation, this is a fairly common occurrence in homicide cases in the area. Their investigation found that at least 23% of cases between 2014 and 2019 had issues with witnesses showing up to testify. The prosecution's failure to present a witness then prompted Rashawn to request a speedy trial. In Wisconsin, a speedy trial means a trial date must be set within 90 days. Because the court could not meet this timeline, they were legally required to give Rashawn an alternative bond type or drop his murder case. While under home arrest, 17-year-old Rashawn resided in the same home as Omarion, next to where the shooting in this video took place. While at the residence, Rashawn, Dalen, and Omarion allegedly witnessed a gray vehicle driving up and down the street multiple times. The vehicle had heavily tinted windows, preventing anybody from seeing inside. This put Rashawn on edge, as he allegedly received threats for having killed Jasmine the year prior. The three agreed that, when the vehicle came around the road again, they would all shoot at the car. Unfortunately, Camiona, Tajiana, and Giga got caught in the alleged crossfire. It is unclear what happened to those inside the mysterious vehicle, but by the time police arrived, they appeared to have sped off. It is also unclear if officers suspected the occupants of the vehicle fired any bullets at all, although Tajiana's ambulance testimony claims guns were shot from both sides of the mysterious vehicle. According to news sources, Omarion's older sister, possibly Sierra, is Rashawn's adopted mother. While she says she did not see the shooting, she reportedly later admitted finding her brother Omarion destroying his bedroom right after the shooting, where he allegedly said, "She's my girl, but they're my brothers." Officers appeared to arrest her for further questioning, though we were unable to find any charges pressed against her. Before her apprehension, officers allowed her to change out of her t-shirt as it appeared to be covered in blood from the crime scene.
Man, you don't gotta tell me all that slick my ain't about nothing. Alright, what?
Just relax, baby.
They be talking too crazy, bro.
You can put one on.
It don't matter, bro. I just asked you nicely not to put it tight.
And I just told you not.
I love y'all.
During a search of the house, officers discovered 5 different handguns, one of which had an extended magazine. Forensic investigations conducted later found 24 casings on the site of the shooting. Rashawn estimated that he fired 15 to 20 shots. Dayline estimated that he fired 10 to 12. Omarion allegedly fired just one time before his gun jammed. All 3 male teenagers were charged with 2 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as a party to a crime. Daylan and Rashawn were each additionally charged with 1 count of first-degree reckless homicide as a party to a crime. All 3 also initially entered a plea of not guilty. For Omarion's case, it would take him just over 9 months to change his plea from not guilty to guilty. He was found guilty on both counts of his first-degree recklessly endangering safety charges. For each, he was sentenced 6 years in prison with 5 years of probation, to be served concurrently, making that the total sentence. His sentence came with 290 days of jail credit. He is estimated to be released on probation in September of 2026, when he will be 22 years old. His probation will end when he is 30 years old. For Daylan's case, he would stand by his not guilty plea and moved forward with a jury trial. The trial found him guilty on all counts. For his reckless homicide charge, he was sentenced 15 years in prison plus 5 years of probation. For each count of endangering safety, he was sentenced 3 years in prison plus 2 years of probation. All of his charges will be served concurrently, resulting in a total sentence of 15 years in prison and 5 years of probation. Daylan is starting with 346 days of jail credit. Having been sentenced in March of 2023, he is expected to be released on probation in April of 2032, when he will be 28 years old. He will not be released from probation until he is 39 years old. For Rashawn's case, he faced both the shootings he was involved in. He also faced 2 counts of bail jumping for previously failing to show up to court. In addition to the charges for this case, his previous case pressed charges for 1 count of second-degree reckless homicide as a party to a crime, and 1 count of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as a party to a crime. In court, he would switch his not guilty plea to guilty for all charges. For his first-degree murder charge, he was sentenced to 32 years in prison with 8 years of probation, to be served consecutively with other charges. For both his first-degree, recklessly endangering safety charges, he was charged a total of 3 years in prison and 2 years of probation. For his previous second-degree homicide charge, he was sentenced 14 years in prison with 6 years of probation. For his previous first-degree recklessly endangering safety charge, he was sentenced 3 years in prison with 3 years of probation. His bail-jumping charges were dismissed, but read in. In total, Rashawn was sentenced 52 years in prison with 19 years of probation. He was given 623 days of jail credit that was ultimately canceled by the court roughly 5 months after his sentence, according to official court websites. Rashawn will not be released on probation until November 2057, when he will be 53 years old. He will not be released from probation until he is almost 90 years old. Currently, both Rashawn and Daylan have submitted their cases to the Court of Appeals. The outcome of those appeals is yet to be determined.